Let's get to CTV's chief financial correspondent, Amanda Lang, who is standing by. Mark Carney has used this term catalyze, Amanda, catalyze investment in Canada. But of course, so much of what Donald Trump has done in the past few months since being inaugurated is really cast a seed of doubt in Canada, right? That there's a lot of things are not predictable here, and that's driven, business away. Stellantis comes to mind right away. Has this budget so far, based on what you're seeing, been able to incentivize people to put their money in Canada and not only attract that investment, but make it stay here?
It's certainly aimed at that. It seems very clear that the aim here is to say, look, yes, we're racking up a deficit. It's a sizable one, but we're also going to attract private investment. The budget says it aims to attract $500 billion over the next 5 years. It is, of course, also promising cuts. It says it will cut its own government operations by $60 billion over the next 3 years. That's a sizable number. There's a lot in here that will be attractive to business, including a new approach to environmental regulations, those emission caps on oil and gas in Alberta. And there are some extensions that were already in place, like the capital gains incentives that were in place, the capital investments, rather, by business, that will be attractive, Omar. The question is whether Canadians will feel as though there's enough in here tomorrow, next week, to offset the weakness of our economy, because we are dealing with, of course, a slowdown that's already underway that could get worse. Or is there enough here in the short term to actually create the aspects of growth so that the economy feels better? That I'm still pouring through the details, but I haven't seen anything that says, yes, there's the idea that will kickstart economic growth in Canada.
And what about even the more immediate, like, affordability concerns? Because you had raised this going in, right? The stuff that they were pitching heading into the budget and that we see in this budget is aimed at transforming the economy over the mid to long term. But Canadians are feeling, 30% higher prices over the last 5 years in the grocery store. I can't find anything in here, to my first glance, that is in addition to what they had already announced, which was making the lunch program permanent, the tax cut that they announced upon their election, the consumer carbon tax. Like, beyond that, I don't see anything in addition.
I agree with you. A lot of it seems to be pre-announced. There will be details that I haven't seen yet. It's a big document. I'm going to pour through it, and we can sometimes let the big numbers obscure some really important numbers, right? If we're not talking billions, we think it's no big deal. There may be really good programs buried in here. I will say some of the things they've pre-announced are important. The extension to EI, for instance, will matter to a lot of people. The supports for those specific sectors that are very much under threat, including steel and aluminum, in place and very important. But it's true that if you were looking for kind of this slam dunk on this is going to help with affordability, it's not really here. On the other hand, there isn't really a silver bullet on that. The housing spending is material. It was pre-announced, but it's here. And then that infrastructure spending, what they're calling the communities strong spending, that could be material. Now, infrastructure cuts a couple of different ways. It can actually be bad for productivity in the sense that it can slow us down while it's underway, but it is good construction jobs, engineering jobs, and that can happen fast. That can be shovel-ready projects. So some of this may actually, we'll see what economists make of how quickly that can happen. Some of it may help spur growth. I'm with you, though. I'm looking at the fine print on where's the help for Canadians that really need it today in the face of everything that's going on.